Good evening, folks. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, let's discuss the fallout from the new district maps and go over some of the comments left by residents in regards to the new district maps.
Ready, win.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, district map fallout. What are residents saying in regards to the new district maps that have many residents here in the city of Yonkers upset?
Ready, wins.
Join me. I want to hear what you think. A lot of people have a lot to say. Good evening, folks. Happy Thursday. I forgot what day it is. What you have to say? Tell me. I want to know if you have any comments. I was trying to get a phone number to get people to call in. I can't. Couldn't do it. But you can leave your comments there. And I want to go over the Yonkers Tribune comments, really. So good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Just really quick, I want to go over just what people are saying. And I think it's very interesting. But it's important because I want others to see, what's really starting to happen here, right? I think a lot's going to be happening this coming year with the elections. I want to show this flyer. I was given to this by a resident who attended the meeting yesterday at the Will Library, right? One of the biggest complaints that residents had who were at the meeting was the lack of communication, right? They didn't feel or they didn't know about it, right? Many residents had no idea what was going on up until the very last minute. And so they felt that the city of Yonkers did a poor job notifying people. Although the city clerk or deputy city clerk, Mike Ramadelli, said that robocalls were sent out or went out, and the council members may have or may not have, posted it on their page and let their constituents know in the district. But they said they made an effort, right? That they had made an effort to let as many people know as possible. But it seems like a lot of people just didn't know. Some people had no clue what these whole districting that was even about to begin with. But a lot of people were upset. And I'm going to show you this one in particular. Well, this is the flyer that the individual drew out. This is, if you can see the line there, right? It splits Gramerton Hills. And so, that's a big problem that people are having because Gramerton Hills, I guess that community there, once were part of District 6. Now they're split between 4 and 5. So, I mean, none of them get to keep their council member, right? Anthony Moranti. And I think a lot of the people that came out to the Will Library were big Moranti supporters. I mean, they were very upset that Moranti was no longer their representative. One woman said, I didn't vote for Tasha Diaz or I don't know, whoever she had as the new representative. Neither did none of my neighbors. So, I mean, are we going to have a special election now so we can get an opportunity to actually vote for the person we would like to represent us? I mean, you're just basically saying, here, this is the person that's not representing you, right? After all these years of, establishing a relationship with your council member, now you have a new one. And then with the people in Gramerton Hills who were divided, between 4 and 5, they felt that their unity, right, their community was being divided in a sense, right? They no longer felt that they could come together and voice their concerns as one community to one council person. Now they were divided between 2 districts, 2 council people. So that made them very upset. And I get it. And as you know, they should be. And this is, if you didn't get to see this, this is like a comparison of the current map and the proposed map. And it's very strange. And I can see why people say that it looks like a child drew that, right? I mean, look at the way District 3 is over here. Right? That's in the light green there. It's crazy. It's just very strange. And then you have this, I call it the tumor over here. I'm sorry, but right, you see that right here with my into District 5. That's consists of Crestwood Lake Apartments, right? So they wanted to add more Democrats to Anthony Moranti's district, who's a Republican. And look, I'm a registered Democrat, right? So, I'd be like, yeah, let's get Moranti out. He's a Republican, I don't care. But that's not the way we should, really, vote. I think party at this point, I think a lot of people are really starting to see that party is really means nothing. It's absolutely no longer a factor for many people, including myself. And I became a Democrat simply because of the primaries. And in Yonkers, many of the important elections are determined in the primaries, right? So I wanted to have an opportunity to vote in the primaries. But as far as party goes, that's nonsense, right? Forget parties. I mean, what party really is there here in the city of Yonkers? And to me, and I've said this before, it's only one party, one real party, and that's the Republicrats. And that consists of a small group of individuals who belong to both the Democrats and the Republicans. A lot of them were once Republicans who converted to Democrats, and they control the city of Yonkers, right? And they collude together to do this, right? This is what they do, right? To do this, right? Actually, this one right here. That's really what this is about. And I'm happy that a lot of people who were at the meeting spoke out against what this is really about, the corruption and all about Moranti and Mike Breen, right? That's why they're deciding these district lines, because they want to make Moranti's district more democratic, get him out, and they want no one to oppose Mike Breen. And that's a deal he made, right? And, Mike Breen, from what I'm hearing, is he made a deal. He wanted no opposition. He wants to be assured that he's going to remain councilman for District 5 and eventually get a job, as many are saying, on the second floor of City Hall. And for that, he supported the term limit extension, the only Republican really to support it, and going against his party. So, the Republican Party is completely destroyed. They're just a mess. And unfortunately, it seems like maybe Moranti and Ron Mattson are the only true Republican, officials, the party officials that are left. You saw Justin Tubiolo at the meeting yesterday, and he spoke out like a champion for the people. But make no mistake, Justin, he's a really Hispano operative, right? And he knew about these new district lines, and he was fine with it. He knew about it. Breen knew about it. And according to the Tribune, John Murtaugh also knew about it. And so they're simply there to play ball. They're not there to represent the Republicans, to represent their party, to lead their party to election victory. They're there to assure that they themselves are led to victory. And Justin Tubiolo has David Tubiolo, his son, to be concerned with. He's a Democrat now, and he understands very well he has to play ball with the Democratic Party, who, which are run by the Spanos, right? Obviously, and Tom Meyer. And if he goes against them, his son is going to have trouble in his elections. He won't get the party endorsement, and he'll get someone to challenge him in the primaries. So Justin has to think about family first, not party, not Republican voters, right? And so we, all see that, right? And a lot of people are starting to see it. I'm very happy to see that people are speaking out against that, right? On the other hand, I don't understand how I still have a council member. It's not fair. We are stuck with the same incompetent, arrogant, senior citizen hating and vengeful man. And Carolyn is referring to John Rubio, not Rubio. And why do some people call him Rubio? Another gentleman last night did. Parties are out the window here. Excuse me. Yes, parties are out the window. I mean, it's very clear by now. I mean, Yonkers is going to be a prime example to the entire country why parties, should not matter when you're considering who you will be voting for. A lot of Republicans are upset and they're done with the Republican Party, but a lot of Democrats are upset and they're done with the Democratic Party, right? So where do they go, right? Do they go to the Working Family Party? I'm not, so sure if that's the answer also, but we have to make sure that we base our vote on the individual, their track record, who they are, what they're capable of getting done. What do they represent, right? What do they stand for? Are they connected to the administration, to the individuals that have been corrupt and compromised, right? We don't want the same old. We don't want to vote for someone that we think it's going to be changed, but they are truly somehow connected, and they will allow that same, cancer of corruption to enter politics once again. So we have to make a very smart decision this year in the mayor's race. We want to ensure that when we vote someone else in, when we vote change, that we're going to sustain that change moving forward. And maybe in 2027, Ron Mattin will be running for mayor, as he announced that on the Yonkers Tribune yesterday or today. Although he told me yesterday that he was running for District 5. He had business cards and all. So I guess that was a waste of money, Ron, right? So that's not good. You're already wasting money. See, the voters are going to see that. You're wasting money, right? So those cards are no good. And he's going to spend the next 4 years, he says, preparing for the 2027 mayoral race. Ron, now you are sounding also indecisive. And, you know, that it's also something we have to factor in, right, when we're deciding. This Yonkers Tribune article here, I want to just go over real quick. Political subterfuge is a lost and often forgotten and ineffective ploy when vying for elected office, but not in the third largest city in New York State. Yonkers is captivated and emboldened by the plots and the ploys afoot. Political musical chairs is a science in Yonkers, whereas other lesser contrived skullduggery, is left to unaware by those who don't know the ploys and idiosyncrasies of winning, as it is so effectively practiced in the city of Yonkers. And Hezzy, just write, please, regular words, man. Enabling the subterfuge revealed herein was fomented by Yonkers Democratic Chairman and Yonkers Department of Public Work Commissioner Thomas Meyer, in conjunction with the Yonkers Republican Chairman John Larkin. So basically, he's saying there that these, and I've heard this, Tom Meyer was heavily involved in these lines, drawing these lines, but we all know who does Tom Meyer work for, right? I'm not talking about DPW. I'm speaking of Nick Spano, right? Nick Spano ultimately is king of Yonkers. There's no doubt about it. In fact, I went out today and bought him a crown, and I'm just waiting to give it to him. He is the king of Yonkers, and what he says go. And Tom Meyer did that on behalf of Nick Spano and the Spanos, right? This is all about assuring that they maintain power. They pay, they pay back favors to people like Mike Breen for what he's done for them in the past 2 years. Patty Breen's assuring of that, right? According to Hezzy, she's tough. She's the one that negotiates for Mike. Mike just sits there wondering what's going on, right? As he did in many of these meetings, oftentimes on his phone, right? They don't care. After all, Breen could be counted upon to do as he was told without ever flinching. Yes, and he has. And he did just that, voting as he was told. And in doing so, rewards could and would be exacted. The impetus for this telling was defined and exacted upon the behalf of one seemingly absent, albeit subservient Spano. Yes, man. Councilman Michael Breen, District 5. Lest some be unaware of subservience, has its grand rewards, as noted in November 12th Hezzy. He's talking about an article he wrote entitled Yonkers City Council Minority Leader Mike Breen's wife, Patty Breen, purported to have demanded a payoff should her husband fail to win election to the office of New York State Assemblyman. And we know that was just, Mike Breen doing as he was told. Again, go against, Nader Sage there, just in case he has any mayoral aspirations, right? Give him a little bit of a run there, scare him a bit. And even though they did, show up to Nader Sage's, kickoff campaign and endorsed him, but they play both sides. The Spanos are like, Prescott Bush. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's the great grandfather of Bush. He was a banker who financed both sides of the World War II, Nazis and American, right? He didn't care. He's all about making money. And that's what they do here. They finance both sides of the political, of these political elections here, whether Republican or Democrat, right? And Mike Breen is obviously one of the Republicans that is a puppet of the Spanos, right? He's obviously one, and according to Hezzy, so is John Larkin, as well as Justin Tubiolo. Justin Tubiolo obviously has, let down the party many, many times. And he has to do what he is being told by the Spanos, because his son, David, the Democrat, will not have it easy if he doesn't, right? He wants that Democratic Party endorsement. He wants the support of the machine. He wants to show up to those, photo ops and election night over at the Castle Royale. He wants to be a part of that. And in order to do that, Justin has to play ball. And so Ron Matten decided to post a letter here on the Yonkers Tribune. I'm not sure if you folks got a chance to read that, but from Ron Matten, sent Thursday, January 5th, 2023, to John Larkin, Robert Moffett, Devin O'Rourke, Albert Velade, Jerry Esposito, subject 2023 and future plans. Gentlemen and lady, I have decided not to run for District 5, although yesterday I was running and I was going full steam ahead. He even made the comment to Breen, I told you if you were going to run for re-election for District 5, you better lose about 20 pounds. But today he's no longer running for District 5. As I contemplate putting my hat in the ring for mayor in 2027, I will spend the next 4 years working on my brand and building alliances within and across party lines. Therefore, I may be supporting some candidates who are not the party-endorsed candidates. I am still committed to smaller government, lower taxes, and a preservation of our quality of life. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of some of our elected representatives. Some of my positions and support may be at odds with the official positions of the Yonkers Republican City Committee. Therefore, I will be resigning my position as second executive director effective January 31st, 2023. I have enjoyed my time working with all you and hope to continue our friendships. I have a tremendous respect for what you have contributed to Yonkers. I am sure there will be junctures where we will be working on the same campaigns, and I look forward to those occasions where we can collaborate. Ron, I thank you for the writing. Sounds so much better, Hezzy. Why can't you write like that? So there you go. Ron has resigned as second executive director of the Yonkers GOP. He is no longer running for District 5. He's now, going to be building his brand and preparing the next 4 years for his mayoral race in 2027. So Ron Matten for mayor 2027, right? So he says he will be endorsing some candidates. They may not be of the party, right? And that's kind of a new thing now. A lot of people saying, screw parties. You guys are all letting us down, So who will he support? Does that mean he's going to be backing Mike Spano or maybe some other Democrat? Ron, who will you be supporting, right? Not Moranti. Moranti will be having his kickoff announcement or whatever you want to call it, announcement event, all right, at the Mount Olympus this weekend, if you want to attend. Matten, you are endorsing Mayor Mike Spano, someone says. And these comments are very interesting. Ron, in the new redistricting plan, it appears that you now live in the 6th district. Is that correct? If so, does that preclude you from running in the 5th? And obviously, he stated that he's not going to be running anymore. Which is better, a Costco hot dog and a Pepsi, or Breenies, Weenies, and a beverage? Obviously referring to Mike Breen there and Andrew Beveridge, the consultant that was hired by the city of Yonkers. Folks, and if you don't know, Andrew Beveridge is a longtime Yonkers Democrat, a Democratic operative, a one-time Democratic district leader. He had no business in being involved in drawing these district lines, at least if you wanted to be fair, right? He had no business. So is Patty going to do the jail time for her hubby? This is not Sabatino 2.0. The difference between redistricting and gerrymandering is a felony. And maybe is that why Vinny was so upset and shaking his leg 100 miles an hour? I thought it was going to go through the stage at one point. But he definitely was not happy at the comments people were making and the tone of the crowd, right? Obviously, they were against their plan, right? Their plan is unraveling, I believe here. And, and I like to think that, basement politics has had a little bit to do with that, but we've also had a lot of other people now starting to speak out. And so I think the combined efforts of all of us, is growing. And that is ultimately what is really starting to turn the tables here. And so are their plans unraveling? Well, that's easy if Breenovich, I guess they're combining Mike Breen and Andrew Beveridge's name. A free beer anywhere Fatty can get it until Chatty Patty tells him, hey, Fatty, slow down. You have to drive the city car to Jersey. And they're referencing Mike Breen. It's been rumored that he drives the Yonkers City car that is provided to him all the way down to their Jersey Shore vacation home. It's something that many of these council members and elected officials and people here in the city of Yonkers, the social elite, political elite class, have all these second and third homes in these affluent, places, out in Palm Beach and Florida, Fort Lauderdale area, Rhode Island, the Hamptons. I mean, this is taxpayer money. Ultimately, that's funding that. Many of us are having hard times, economically. We're trying to make ends meet. We're still having to pay these taxes, and that's what they're using to support their lavish lifestyles that they keep hidden from the people of Yonkers because they go and splurge in other states. Mike Breen's reputation is so damaged that he had Republicans coming out at the second redistricting meeting tonight, threatening to vote Democrat if he became their representative as an outcome of this process. Never seen anything quite like it. I don't know how he can show his face after such an outpouring of opposition. Nearly half of the public comments tonight were explicitly against him personally, as many constituents see him as the beneficiary of a murky political process, which removes them from the 6th and packs them into the 5th with the intention of crafting a non-competitive Republican district. Breen is a do-nothing councilman who is emblematic of a corrupt system. Spano clearly underestimated how much of the public will be tapped into this process and overplayed his hand in rewarding Breen for his antics over the past year. You reap what you sow. He might as well save himself the humiliation from seeking another term and ask Mike for his lapdog job on the second floor now. Wow, that was a great comment there. I like that. Yeah, so it says a lot there. And basically, one of the things I got from, I like the line where he says, I just always assume it could be a she. Spano clearly underestimated how much of the public would be tapped into this process. Yeah, and it seems like people, and maybe it's just, a combination of the term limit extension and the redistricting, but people were really angry this time around at this meeting, and compared to, although they were angry at the term limit thing, but it really seemed like people came out, and really were speaking of the corruption, right? They would just blatantly say it's all about the corruption, all about, as they say here, this murky political process, which removes them from the 6th and packs them into the 5th in order to create a non-competitive Republican district so that Breen can have an easy go, right? Because they knew that they were going to be doing this 4th term, right? This was planned well in advance, folks. And although they just sprung it on everybody and got it through and passed in 10 days, they had, a year or so, if not 4 years, to plan that, right? And that's how it really went down. All you need is $1 in a dream or a godfather. Is that a cigar? Hopefully the combined greed behind the 4th term extension and now this travesty, they will all go down in defeat in their next elections. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think, it's just people are really tired now. First is the term limit extension. They, pushed that through. Did that in 10 days, and here we go again. And now you're dividing communities. Now you're really impacting people directly. As one man said, if there's a pothole, we can't come together as a community to get that addressed because we have different council members now. And we don't want that. We want to remain one community. And so Spano administration, yeah, I think they overplayed this hand and they underestimated the people. And in trying to do these favors for Mike Breen and trying to remove Moranti, I think they really messed up this time. Anything paid, though, Anthony paid those people to attend. Now, folks, I want you to understand that some of these Tribune comments, they do come from people like Zahi Jarris and a Frank Jarris, right? These are political operatives who are behind the campaigns of some of the elected officials, of not all, that we want out. And many reasons why we have elected officials like the Tasha Diaz's and the sneaky John Rubos and the Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, who come out of nowhere. And the only thing they can get done is a legislation to allow Mike Spano to continue to remain in power. They come from Zahi Jarris's precision strategies. You have to understand, folks, whether you're Republican or Democrat, Zahi Jarris is impacting you negatively. He destroyed the Republican Party at one point. Remember, in 2012, he was the former GOP chair. Went to jail. Phil Lamacone asked him to step down. But even back then, it was obvious that GOP and the Democratic Party worked together. Sandy Anabi was a Democrat. So party really matters nothing here in the city of Yonkers. It's one party. That's the Republican. That's the crime family, as they say here, the mob that controls the city of Yonkers, and it operates in that manner. They have their capos or commissioners that see to it that they remain in power, because they can't do this without the minions that do their bidding. And that's why they give them these jobs after they're done passing legislations that favor them, or legislations that favor developers on behalf of Nick Spano's lobbying firm. He wants to be a successful a lobbyist, right? Hey, John Spano, you should have listened to your younger brother and supported Hodges. Now Moranti is going to shove it up your backside. Yeah, and they're talking about the race in 2021 when Tim Hodges ran against Anthony Moranti for the 6th District Council seat, right? But a lot of people just weren't going to vote for a Democrat. And a lot of people did like Tim Hodges. However, unfortunately, as nice of a guy Tim Hodges is, again, Zahi Jeris was in the picture. People are done with Zahi Jeris. They don't want the guy around. He's done nothing but, brought shame and corruption to the city of Yonkers, to our government, and any individual that is, associating with him in any capacity should be, questioned and their integrity and what really is their agenda. Why are they even seeking that seat, that city court judge seat or the council seat, right? And does Spano get people to like him? How can Mike or Patty Breen show their face at the Republican committee meetings? They should be embarrassed and ashamed. You hear this, Patty and Mike? And I know they watch. They liked the show before, so I know they watch. They should both switch party affiliations, as should Justin. Might as well, to join his weirdo son. Note to David. Weirdo son. Note to David. Rhinoplasty should be in your future. Don't be mean, right? And I think that, that's where you kind of, miss the mark, and we get it, right? We want to see the corruption then, and we want to see these people voted out, but we don't want to be nasty. And I've been guilty of that. I have, and someone, a few people have told me, said, Freddie, you got to just be careful how you present yourself, and and I apologize to anyone that I may have offended, or if anything I've said, right? Because it's been times where people have just really got me angry, right? And they're very disgusting. And I can show you the text message that I've received, and the messages and things that they've done to my wife, and posted online, and the lies that they've created. I mean, they've really tried to turn our lives upside down in the most disgusting manner, and they know no boundaries. And so, I've allowed my emotions to get the better of me. So I apologize. Breen is more of a Republican than Matten could ever be. And again, these comments like this, this is these individuals, the Democratic operatives, the Yonkers Democratic Committee, chaired by Tom Myers. His son, Tommy Meyer Jr., is a vice chair of the party. I mean, they really got a stronghold on this Democratic Party. So all you Democrats out there, all you, honest Democrats out there, you have to understand that your party is corrupt. It's compromised, right? You don't really choose the person. They choose it for you. So I want you to know that. And so they'll put comments like this in order to get people to believe this nonsense. So anyway, Breen is more of a Republican than Matten could ever be. Matten is now lying to all that will listen that he is being prevented from running, all while having officially withdrawn from seeking his party's endorsement over 3 weeks ago. An excerpt from the Yonkers Rising. Matten, who ran for city council president in 2021, was considering challenging Breen in a GOP primary in June for the 5th council seat. However, in an email to executive committee of the Yonkers Republican Party dated January 5th, 2023, Matten stated that he is withdrawing from consideration and would prefer to contemplate a mayoral campaign in 2027. Additionally, in the same email, Matten resigned his position as second executive director of the Republican, and he intends to spend the next 4 years, as I said, building his brand. Matten's comments have brought pause to some who have worked with him in the past. One Republican district leader commented that espousing Republican ideas appears only to be acceptable when it works to Ron Matson's benefit. Now that the Republican Party's endorsement is no longer in play for him, he is setting himself up to help run primaries against those that the hardworking members of the city committee select in the same way he was selected just 2 short years ago. Time to stop lying now, Ron. Oh, and by the way, calling the majority leader a rascal has serious racial undertones that I promise you will have to answer for. You are a despicable human being, and more people see through you than you think. And so, that's one of the the Republicrats, the people that are part of the administration, the Zahi Jarrett's team, the individuals, again, that we want to get out, that we want to elect out, right? And they come on here and they'll say these nonsense. They try to call me a racist and, and all kinds of other things. So just be careful what you read and what you believe about people. And I'm, it's not in defense of Ron. It's just pointing out the fact. You know how they show up, throw some food, I don't know if that's a stupid comment. In a far, far away land, redistricting is defined as the process of redrawing district boundaries to guarantee equal voter representation through equal or equivalent population counts. Have no fear. The mayor's office will step in and tweak the existing lines. All is right with Yonkers. The Spano dynasty continues. Public be damned. So yes, and you heard Lakeisha Collins Bellamy say, I hear you guys. I heard everyone, and I've decided that, we're going to have another meeting about it. We're not going to vote on it. I'm not going to put in committee right away. We're going to take a sec. So yeah, they're going to, obviously there's a lot of strong opposition, a lot of people that, they are concerned of really being more vocal. So they're going to try to appease some of the people that were there speaking out. Now, if you notice that they were writing people's names down, that's why they wanted you to tell you where they lived and all that stuff, right? And then they're going to try to figure you out. It's all about getting information on people. So be careful. They will do that. And they'll probably say, okay, well, let's kind of get these people so they can be quiet, right? So they will tweak it a little bit. At this point, they have to. But is it going to really, still for the people, benefiting the people? Hey, Fatty, your hot dogs suck. Tell mama that people are mean. Tubiolo's endorsement of Breen doesn't mean anything. Justin was the worst Yonkers GOP chairman in modern times. He was too weak and anxious for that position. Mike Breen will face a primary and most likely lose. The voters in the 5th district, many, tend to be middle class and don't like that Breen sold out again on term limits. John Murtaugh, if he wants to return to public life, will be successful. Also, I believe part Breen is a liability, or Patty Breen is a liability. Not sure what that means. Oh, and I guess that letter was posted up. It was from January 5th, so Ron didn't put this on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is a letter from Ron sent to these individuals on January 5th. So maybe he's still running for, I'm sorry, I probably had it all wrong. I think he's still running? I guess maybe he's running for District 5. Yeah, never mind. I take that back. As it stands now, as I know of, Ron is actually still running for District 5. This is just a letter. I thought he put this up. I'm sorry. It's a letter that he sent, I guess, to the Republican Party, GOP, its officials. So, yeah, he's hired Michael Sussman. So, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I got it. Never mind. Take that back. Scratch that. I was wrong. Mr. Matten, the names you've mentioned in your your resignation letter, Devin O'Rourke, Jerry Esposito, and Albert Velade, are names the majority of Republican voters in Yonkers have no idea who they are. Furthermore, most people do not have a clue who their district award leaders are. So how can they say they represent us when they have never reached out to us? The above, like most political hacks, are all about themselves and getting jobs for their families. Bottom line is you're all full of shit. I think that's the best comment I've read so far. That's the best comment I've read so far. And I'll tell you why. That's true. Most people don't know who their district or ward leaders are. And some people don't even know who their council member is. They're not out there in the community. They're not engaging the people. And some people say, well, have said, oh, this person responds, but others have not had that same experience. So I don't know if they pick and choose who they want to respond to, but I can tell you, I have reached out to Moranti for help. I didn't get much. I've reached out to Breen. I didn't get much. We've reached out to Tasha. We didn't get much. I mean, essentially, these people started not liking me because I was demanding that they, listen to what I was concerned about. I needed help. And they didn't care. Because at the end of the day, they're not there to represent the people. They're there to do what they are told by the party, which ultimately is controlled by Nick Spano, Zahi Jeris, and that's how it goes. And they're just there to smile, sometimes roll their eyes, sometimes just look in their phone, but always collect taxpayer money. Take the taxpayer car, take the taxpayer gas and insurance, and as some people say, take it all the way down to the Jersey Shore, send those perks and benefits that come along with that title, as well as the perks and benefits that their family members get to enjoy as a result of that position or title they have now. Many of their families, I mean, just the fact that most of them have at least 2 to 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 family members working for the city in some capacity. That says a lot right there. They're not going to do anything the people want. They're going to do what Mike Spano wants, what Nick Spano wants. That's it. They're going to stay quiet. Their bills are being paid because of this. That's all that matters. That's it. That's what politics is. That's it. Nothing more to it. They just want to pay for their lifestyle, their lives, their livelihood, their bills. That's all they want. That's it. And so they will do whatever. And it's, they're full of crap. They're not out there in the community helping people. They're not out there getting things done. And it's not hard. I mean, I've been able to get things done here in the community, and I'm not elected official. I'm not anyone really. I'm just another resident. I'm just another person that lives in Yonkers, but I will let you know about it. I will complain about it. And at this point, I got enough people watching Basement Politics that they move on things. And they should be out there doing this. I'm sure many of them go up and down Central Avenue all the time. Mike Breen, I'm sure you do. I've seen you over there. Moranti, I've seen you up and down Central Avenue. Vinny Spano, I've seen you. And yet, and still, these potholes are horrible, all over the place. Fire hydrants that don't work. I mean, it's a fact. And I'm getting this information from very reliable sources. I just can't say more than that because I don't want to out people, right? I don't want to out the people who give me information. So to other pages and bloggers that are saying that Freddie's lying about the fire hydrant thing, he doesn't always talk. It's not true. All right? It's not true. I care about people's safety. Why don't you investigate that? Because if I'm telling the truth, then that's a danger. People could die. Rather than you wanting me to be wrong. That's what they want. They want me to be wrong, right? So go fix these hydrants. Make sure you're checking them. Go do your jobs. And so they're full of shit, just like the last few words there of that comment. For the most part. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful. But they're not doing nothing for the people of this community. Their constituents, regardless of what side, what district you live in. Some might say, yeah, he does this for me, and I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm sure. But you're not everybody in your district. And sure, they'll do things for this person, that person, maybe at this third over here because they know him, in some capacity outside of just their councilman. Maybe that's their neighbor, a friend of their friend, or a family member's friend. Of course they'll do something for them people. Of course they'll answer those emails. But some regular Joe Schmo calling about something wrong with their apartment or calling about a pothole or anything else, they're not going to answer. They only respond to people that will impact their elections. Bottom line. And so if you had a councilman return your thing, you had a great experience, I don't doubt it. But you don't speak for the majority, unfortunately. Right? You here comes you are correct, Joan. Breen will face a very strong primary challenger who he will lose to. I have already confirmed this with my sources. Anthony Moranti will take back the Republican Party and rid it of the rhinos like Breen and Tubiolo, who has already endorsed Breen for re-election. And Tubiolo got up there talking like he's the, people's champ and something. for the Republicans. You heard him? That was all an act. All an act, Tubiolo. They plan to redistrict to help bring Cruz to re-election with no Democratic challenger. What they didn't plan was for an opening opening the district to more Republicans who will primary. No Republican like Breen will be able to survive a primary when the largest Republican issue will be him supporting term limit extensions in defiance of his own party and solely for his personal benefit. It's a shame that once he loses, the Spanos will give him a do-nothing job in City Hall anyway. But at least he and his wife will get taken down a few pegs. But if we come out and vote for a different mayor, that won't happen. Not only will he not get a job up in City Hall, but many people who don't deserve to have the jobs they have now will be gone. And I'm not talking about DPW guys. I'm talking about commissioner status. Many commissioners who do not belong there, who are not qualified because of Mike Breen. Mike Breen, that's right. One of his legislations, in case anyone's just, considering voting for him for re-election, was reducing the requirement that someone would need in order to become the building department commissioner. They didn't have to be a licensed engineer. And so they took that requirement out and gave Sam Borelli the job, the former DPW deputy commissioner, who once ran for mayor, who's been involved in politics longer than I've been alive. And then they hired a deputy commissioner at the building department who is a licensed engineer. So, dude, I'll move you up if you're listening. Yes, you are correct. He won't walk away empty-handed. Joan Gronowski. I hope Moranti takes the lines to court. Ron Matin, Raquel Ali should join the lawsuit. The best thing to come out of the term limits and redistricting is that you see these really unthinkable coalitions forming. It really seems like it's people who actually believe in their party's principle, DOR, versus those that can only survive on taxpayer-funded jobs doing whatever they're told. Yes, and I love when they talk crap on these anonymous text messages about me. I'm like, you know, you're basically on welfare, right? If your only means of making money is a career politician, then you're basically on welfare. You're begging and hoping that the people vote for you so you can keep your job because you are not really qualified to make it out in the private sector, where people will judge you on your skills and your qualifications, your experience, your skill sets and your knowledge, your brain. You won't make it. You won't make it. Like the guy who had the 4 more years shirt. Sácate la teta de la boca. Spano teta en la boca. Some men may be challenged or may feel less manly if the woman he may date and or eventually marry told. It's a long comment. It's nonsense stuff. I'm so tired of reading and hearing about the corruption. So look, this is obviously a Spano supporter. I'm so tired of reading and hearing about the corruption in Yonkers, yet nothing is ever done about it. Serious question. Do the complaints have to go higher up? Westchester DA? Well, maybe this person is actually, there's another comment that example, how can the mayor's sister-in-law, now listen to this, folks, and I've talked about this on my podcast. How can the mayor's sister-in-law, and they're referring to Jamie McGill Spano, and a YIDA employee, she is the executive director of the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency, knock someone's teeth out and not get assault charges brought up on her? Insanity. Insanity. But she wouldn't be the first person to not be arrested and charged with a crime, although it was committed and they knew about it. And not only that, those individuals also get jobs with the city. Where do the charges go? Where does the drugs that they get arrested with go? I mean, if there's no more record of that arrest, what do they do with the drugs? Do they just keep it in the evidence locker or someone take it home? If there was an actual, and someone wrote, this is what I mean about the Spano, puppet here. If there was actual corruption like there was 40 years ago, don't you think the feds would have had a field day in Yonkers? I'm tired of hearing crybabies cry wolf. 25 years of corruption. Get out of here. Ron Matton is a joke. The guy is a big loser. Can't keep a job, can't win a race, can't hold an intelligent conversation, get a life, Ron. And Moranti, come on, Hezzy, hold the guy accountable. Mr. I didn't know this was all going on. Where have you been, Moranti? Mars, you voted for Mr. Beveridge. You were at the meeting where he explained redistricting. Elections are upcoming. Lines need to be drawn before petitions are collected. Wake up. And you want to be mayor? What a joke. Don't fret. The only guy who will win in the mayor's race is George Hudak. Well, who that? Who is George Hudak? And this is folks, this is what this post or this comment is meant to do. To try and persuade people that there's no corruption actually in Yonkers, that people are just, like Ron Matton and others, and people like me are just, crying wolf or whatever, right? If there were, then the feds would be all over it. Well, maybe, but there's definitely corruption going on in the city of Yonkers. Absolutely, 1,000%. 1,000%. And the reason this person says the only person who will win the mayor's race is some George Hudak is because they want to throw you off. They can't say it's Mike Spano because they'll know that's a Spano supporter writing that. Right? And I love how they say you can't keep a job. They always try to insult someone in their finances. They've said things to me. They have no idea who I am, but they think they do. And they've said things to me as if I care. I don't care if I'm, in the street homeless. I really don't. At this point in my life, I don't care. If I live in a box, it wouldn't matter to me. I wouldn't feel less of a man than anyone. And so it's obvious that these people, are only about material things and money. That's all they're about. They're a bunch of empty soul individuals who think that this is what the world is about, being greedy, destroying people's lives and livelihoods, and laughing at it like it's a joke, talking about people's family members who have died, passed away from things like overdoses, and they think that that's a joke. That's something to make fun of, to throw in someone's face. That's the disgusting individuals that we have in control now of the city. And I'm asking you all to come out and change, and I'm asking you to share the podcast, and I'm asking you to tell others we must come out and vote for change. Many of you have not even seen how bad these individuals can get, have no idea what they will do to remain in power. Unbelievable. And yes, Moranti, one of the lines they say here is, Moranti, Mr. I didn't know this was all going on. And they're referring to the redistricting. He said I wasn't included in it, or, I was told at the last minute, which I didn't buy either. And I'm not against you, Moranti. I'm not. I'm just keeping it honest. I didn't buy it. If I were you, I'd be all in it. They didn't let me be all in it. I'll make sure I let everyone know they weren't letting me be all in it this day they were doing this. I'd be at the door, banging on it. But it's not just this. There's a lot of things, Moranti, that you knew was going on and didn't say anything about. And that is where my trust for you, just stops. Same thing with Corazon Pineda. You guys have been there for years. You could have spoken up about many things. You probably could have helped end this a long time ago. You guys could have stopped it before the third term even began. But you didn't. As that last comment says, everyone's out for themselves. They're all full of shit. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you, folks, for joining me.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Folks, we must come out and vote. It's very important. These are important elections, especially with the mayor's vote. We have to come out and vote for change. Everyone has not announced. They will soon, but we must make sure we vote for the right person, not because of the party, not because of the race, not because of the gender, but because they are the person that is going to be the change this city so desperately needs. I'm Freddie Vasquez, this is Basement Politics. Thank you once again. I love you, Yonkers. As always, I appreciate you.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I'm here to give you guys the truth. This is where truth lives and corruption dies. Give it to you, uncorrupted, unbiased, and unfiltered.
Freddie wins.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
That's right, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. That's my daughter, Maddie. I love you, baby. Love my kids.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
That's Ethan.
You're watching.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
My beautiful wife.
Freddie wins.
Thank you, guys. I love you. I appreciate it. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Join me tomorrow. Anthony DiMaggio. It's Friday. How am I doing? All right. Keep me sending emails to the individuals that emailed me today. Thank you. I will look into that. Someone sent me something that you wanted me to look into. I definitely will do that. You know, I appreciate you guys giving me the guidance and pointing me in directions. You know, it helps me out. I do have a lot going on. I know some people wonder if I got a job. Yeah, I do, man. I have a job. I wish I can devote all my time to truly investigating. You know, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not in my mouth. To researching this, as much as I, more than I could, but I'm trying. But I appreciate the info you guys give me. Thank you, folks.
Freddie wins.
What's out of here?
In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me, and I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want somebody to want a chicken. So thank you.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
No, what is that sweet spot? Thank you for.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
Freddie wins. Fatality.